Happening, guys? Victor here with a brand new video, and yes, today is the day. No more jokes, no more games. Today is officially the day that UFC 249 is going down. It is official. It will be going down here on the East Coast. Prelims start at 6, main card starts at 10, and then over at the West Coast, the main card will be starting at 7 p.m. So stay tuned. It is officially going down. If you want to buy the pay-per-view, it is $64.99 with an ESPN Plus subscription. If you don't have an ESPN Plus subscription, then it may cost a little bit more for you. But all in all, things are going down today. A couple of things did go down, unfortunately, this week, and that was that Ronaldo Souza, aka Jacare Souza, the alligator, he tested positive for COVID-19. Two of his cornermen also tested positive for COVID-19. This is reported by Ariel Hawani and was also promoted. It was also reported by Brett Okamoto via Twitter. So that was obviously a big problem right there. Another problem is that Jeremy Stevens did weigh about 4 pounds over, 4.5 pounds to be precise. He weighed in at around 150, so he did weigh in overweight for his fight against Kelvin Kattar, but that fight is still on. Now the fight with Jacare Souza and Uriah Hall is off, is scratched from the card, so it will not be going down tonight. Every other fight he did make weight, and every other fight will be going on, so I believe the card had 11 or 12 fights in total, so now it's going to be trimmed down to just 11 or 10. I believe 11 max. I think it had 12 fights in total. Now it's trimmed down to 11 max. So I'm glad to say that this card is still stacked. The majority of the fighters on there are still really talented and some of the best in the whole entire world. So this is still hands down the best card that the UFC has ever put down in the history of the promotion and maybe in the history of mixed martial arts as well. All eyes are going to be on the UFC today, as the whole entire world is going to be tuned in on the UFC and how everything is ran, how professional things are going to be, how everything is just going to flow overall. Now, UFC is the first sport that's going to be back overall in the United States. I know boxing was back just a couple of weeks ago in Nicaragua, so boxing is basically the official sport that came back out of this whole entire corona virus epidemic. Now, depending on how things go with the UFC, they're going to be running 3 events in the course of 7 days. UFC 249, and then a fight night in Jacksonville, and a fight night in Jacksonville yet again this coming week. So there's going to be another fight night on Wednesday. That one is going to be Glover versus Anthony Smith, and another fight night that will be going on that Saturday, which is going to be the main event between Alistair Overeem and Walt Harris. Now, a couple of these fights were supposed to go down a couple of times, but then they got canceled as a result of the pandemic. So if things go smoothly today and then during those other two fight cards, then UFC is officially going to be back in business, and they will be able to keep pumping out fights on a regular basis from now on, trying to get back on that regular schedule that got altered because of the pandemic. So Dana White's just a genius. He's a madman at the same time. I may not like him as a person too much because of how he does run things the way that he does, but he's got a certain style about him. He's got a certain leadership role that he has about him as well that's a little bit rebellious, but you need someone rebellious in order to keep things going. And that's what Dana White's doing. He said that the UFC would be the first sport back, the first organization back in business in the United States, and that's what's going to happen as soon as 6 p.m. starts. As soon as the first punch is thrown, UFC is officially back in action, and we will have already beaten out the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, Major League Soccer, Major League Lacrosse, the WNBA, women's basketball. And that's major, you know. A lot of these organizations are a lot larger than us, and the thing with the UFC is that it's all year round. It doesn't only have a season. Most of these sports run for a certain amount of months in a given time. The UFC does not. It is year round. So that's what's so special about the UFC. There's never a break. There's always something going on, no matter what. So being able to pull off this event was a miracle of itself, and I'll be happy to actually see the fights for once. We haven't seen fights in about a month and a half or so. So being able to actually see these fighters go into action and these modern day gladiators going in there to fight to the death. Um, Not literally, just kind of like figuratively. But other than that, it's going to be a great night of fights. I'm glad that you guys get to enjoy it. You know, at the convenience of your homes. I know some states have opened back up, some states are still on lockdown, but we're just happy to get some sort of entertainment nowadays since everything else has been on lockdown. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Once again, if you are on the East Coast, the prelims will start at 6. Main card is going to start at 10 p.m. And then if you're at the West Coast, I believe the prelims are going to start at... Actually, no, I don't know what time the prelims are going to start on the West Coast. I think they might start at... If it starts at... the main card starts at 7, then I think the prelims are going to start at around probably 4 o'clock. I'm thinking prelims should start at 4 or 3 o'clock at the West Coast. And the main card is going to be at 7 o'clock. Sorry about that. I'm obviously not the best person at math, but I definitely will give you guys better information next time, especially regarding the West Coast, just because I live on the East Coast and I know these times a whole lot better than I do on the West Coast. But appreciate you guys for watching this video. I'll continue to keep on pumping out some content. I'll make some videos even after UFC 249 is over, and more content to be covering the other fights going on this week going forward. So I appreciate you guys a lot. Stay safe, stay tuned, and stay blessed.